I don't think I've learned my lesson because I'm
Are
picking
you?
the Seahawks.
Oh my goodness. You just don't
Uh,
trust them. You're just mad that they beat the Eagles, aren't you?
it's just like when the Eagles are playing a team that could potentially beat them. You just pick them, even if you think that the Eagles are going to win. You just pick the other team because you don't want to see them win. And I don't want to see the fucking 49ers win.
Oh my
Uh,
goodness.
damn it. Flea Flicker Nation, you're tuned into another episode of the Flea Flicker Show. We are your hosts, Fred and Dre. We drop new episodes every Wednesday and Friday in the NFL season. Subscribe on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure to follow us on social media. Dre, tell them what we got going on.
Yeah, man. So it's week 14. We got the week 14 predictions, and we are just going ever closer to the playoffs here. So before the predictions, we're going to get into a little playoff talk. There's some clinching scenarios this week, which is exciting. 3 teams will hit. And I also wanted to talk about the Hall of Fame real quick, because the Hall of Fame did announce 25 semifinalists for the 2024 Hall of Fame. And I want to get those names out there, maybe see if we can put together 5 guys that we think are going to make it.
Yeah, let's get after it. Get the product out there to Flea Flicker Nation.
Yeah.
Don't mind my dying plant in the background. I was told by my wife that I had to water it today, so I haven't done it yet. But it's now midday, and I'll get to it.
You'll get to it eventually.
When it dies.
When it dies. Yeah. I'm going to hit these 25 semifinalists, though. So let's talk about them in alphabetical order. So no particular other order. But yeah, Eric Allen, he was on the Eagles. I don't know if you know him. Jared Allen, the Cowboy, we all know him. Well, he wasn't a Cowboy, but he is in real life a Cowboy. Willie Anderson, Tiki Barber, first time in as a semifinalist. He's not going to make it, but I love me some Tiki. Anquan Bolden, Joffrey Evans, London Fletcher, Dwight Freeney, Antonio Gates, first time, he's a beast. Eddie George, James Harrison, Steelers legend. Rodney Harrison, Devin Hester, kick returner. Torrey Holt, he's been there for a while. Andre Johnson, Robert Mathis, Julius Peppers, first time. Steve Smith, Fred Taylor, Hines Ward, Ricky Waters, Reggie Wayne, Vince Wilfork, Patrick Willis, and Darren Woodson. A lot of huge names in that list right there.
Huge names. Yeah, there's a lot of names in here, and a lot of these guys, I mean, most of these guys are definitely worthy to be here, and they're semifinalists for a reason.
Yeah, I would say so.
I definitely think Antonio Gates is one that jumps off the page to me. I think he's a for sure going in. There's no doubt about it. Eddie George, I think for sure as well. I think Eddie George is going to slide in there. Honestly, both James and Rodney Harrison, some contention there for those 2 guys. They led. James Harrison particularly led the Steelers during their heyday there in 2002 to 2017. So,
dude, I'm never gonna forget James Harrison's fumble return against the Cardinals in the Super Bowl. Oh, that crushed me. I wanted the Cardinals to win, and Kurt Warner. Oh, that was a horrible play.
I could see Peppers. I could see Johnson, but not yet. I don't think they're going to be like immediately in. I think it's going to take a little while.
Yeah.
Honestly, let's see. Look at the list here. You got Steve Smith will make it. I don't know if he'll be a first ballot, but he'll make it.
Oh, he was up last year actually too, so he's not a first ballot.
No. Yeah, I think he should be able to make it in. Darren Woodson, maybe.
Yeah.
Patrick Willis. I think Patrick Willis will make it.
He's a tank. He was a tank. I'm sure he still is.
Yeah, I'm sure. Dwight Freeney should make it as well. I mean, he had a pretty great career, so he should make it too. I don't know. What's your take?
My take this year, so they put 5 in every year, 5 from the regular group. And I think Antonio Gates, like you said, I think he's a lock for round 1 or his first ballot. I think he's a lock. He's one of the best tight ends ever. I think they're going to push Julius Peppers in as a first ballot guy too. I could be wrong about that. I could be wrong. But for some reason, I just feel like the committee is really going to want him in the Hall of Fame, and they're going to push him through. Torrey Holt, he's been a finalist 5 times now. So I think he's going to get pushed through this time as a receiver. He was really good for the Rams for a long time. And pretty much everyone else from that Rams team that is Hall of Fame worthy is already in. They're just like waiting on him. So I think he's going in. And then the last 2 guys I really want to see get in, that's Patrick Willis, like you said. The only thing that hurts his Hall of Fame career is that he had such a short career. He retired early. That's the only reason why he's not in already.
Only 7 years.
Yeah, I think they're going to overlook that finally this year, though, and put him in. It'd be his like fourth time as a finalist, I believe. And then Devin Hester, I think. I mean, come on. People literally game planned against Devin Hester specifically for his ability to return kicks for touchdowns.
Yeah, it's something to like think about, because I mean, like, as an actual wide receiver, he wasn't incredibly effective.
Yeah.
But as a return man, there's none better. I mean, Devin Hester was a cheat code. Like, literally, you play with him in Madden or NFL Street, and you were returning touchdowns on every single drive. So he was certainly a cheat code in there, and I think he definitely makes the case for being there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't put him in for a long time, but I really think he deserves to get in like as soon as possible. The two other guys that I will say I think have a really good shot this year are Reggie Wayne, who he's been a finalist 4 times. This would be his 5th time if he makes it. And then Jared Allen. It was a beast for a very long time. I think he's got a solid shot this year as well.
Now, what about guys like Eddie George or Hines Ward?
So Eddie George and Hines Ward, they both had really good careers. The committee they haven't made it as finalists like ever. So they go from 25 to 15, and the 15 finalists are who they pick the 5 from.
Mm-hmm.
And those two players, I'm not entirely sure what it is about their career that they think isn't worthy, but they just don't put them up there. They haven't.
I feel like they're definitely worthy, especially like, I mean, Hines was pivotal in their the Steelers runs there with Ben Roethlisberger, and without Hines Ward there, I don't know what they would have done. I mean, he wasn't the guy that excelled off the stat sheet like some of the guys you see today, like Tyreek Hill. But the dude was a baller.
Yeah, I agree. I think, unfortunately, those two guys might need to wait until they hit like the 20-year retired mark and get in as like the old heads, because they put one old head in every year in the Hall of Fame. I think that might be what happens with them, unfortunately. I think they are worthy, though. So I don't know. That
old head, I don't know who's going to be. It could be, I don't know, could be Eric Allen, could be Ricky Waters.
Well, those guys are in with the regular group still.
Oh God, really?
Yeah, I know. It goes back pretty far. It goes back pretty far.
How's that possible? Those guys in the 90s.
Yeah, I thought it was 20 years. I might be wrong about that, because I'm now realizing how old we are, and that was more than 20 years ago.
Yeah, because Ricky Waters, dude fucking killed it for Philly for a couple of years, but he had a really good career.
Yeah.
But again, it kind of goes with like with Patrick Willis. Like, his career was pretty short. He only had a couple of years in San Francisco, a couple of years in Philly, and a couple of years in Seattle. He didn't have an extremely long career, but he was a running back. So.
Speaking of short careers, Andrew Luck was actually eligible for the first time this year. He did not make the list at all.
Not surprising.
Yeah.
But it's exciting. It'll be interesting to see who gets in. Definitely, I mean, Antonio Gates we're both on agreement there. He's for sure getting in.
I think he might be the only solid 100% lock of who's going to be getting in this year. But let's move to today's game, today's day and age games, with some playoff clinching scenarios. We got 3 teams that could clinch the playoffs this week. And let's start with your team, the Philadelphia Eagles. Of course, they didn't clinch last week with their horrible loss.
Horrible loss. It was embarrassing, but hey, little humility never hurt anybody.
Yeah. I'm not going to actually go over all of the ways they can clinch a playoff berth, because there's 10 different ways they can do it.
Go over each one.
Do you actually want me to go over each one?
No, I don't.
Okay.
It's a waste of time.
Essentially, they have to win, and a combination of either Green Bay, Seattle, Minnesota, or LA losing, and they're in. But like the 2 simple ones for them, Philly win and Seattle loss, or Philly win and Rams loss. Those are the 2 simple ones.
And both are doable.
Both are very doable. Yeah. Who does Seattle play, actually? Because I feel like
Seattle's got the 49ers.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen, actually. I think the Eagles are going to clinch this week. Speaking of the 49ers, they have 3 ways to clinch a playoff berth this week. San Fran, they have to win to clinch. Philly can also clinch with ties, but they're ridiculous. Just win. The 49ers, they win, Green Bay loses. They win, the Vikings lose. Those are the 2 realistic options. So Green Bay or Minnesota losing. And I think that's very doable as well. Who the heck do they play? Minnesota. The Vikings play the Raiders, and the Packers play the Giants, don't they?
Yeah.
So honestly, I'm probably going to say the Niners might not clinch, because I feel like Green Bay and Minnesota will win, but you never know. It could happen for sure. And then, of course, the Cowboys can clinch. Their clinching is a little messy, though. There's like 6 different things that have to happen. But essentially, it boils down to those same 4 teams having to lose. The Packers, the Vikings, the Rams, and the Seahawks. I think all 4 of them actually have to lose for Dallas to get in, which probably isn't going to happen.
Probably not. I think it's a safe bet to say that all 4 of those things aren't happening. So they're going to have to wait a while.
But I think the Eagles are going to be the first team to clinch this week based on what we just went over. The 49ers, maybe. I don't think so, but maybe. Depends on how the Vikings come out to play. And the Cowboys probably won't be. But those are the playoff scenarios. Speaking of the playoffs, you had some stuff for that, didn't you?
Yeah, I just want to run down with you and just kind of go down the list of the current playoff hunt right now. So right now, the standings, starting with the AFC, it goes Dolphins, Ravens, Chiefs, and Jags as the division leaders, with the Steelers, Colts, Browns getting the wild card, and the really only in the hunt teams being Texans, Broncos, and Bills. Starting with the AFC there.
Did you count the Bengals in that? I'm just curious. No? Okay.
No. I mean, even though they did look good the other day, I just don't really see them making that I don't see any stability there. And the fact that they should be able to sustain that success that Browning was able to give them. I think it was more so people thought he was going to suck, and he doesn't actually suck. But I don't think he's going to give them enough to take them into the playoffs. Yeah,
they would need to essentially almost win out at this point, I think, and also have multiple teams collapse. Yeah. So I see why you would leave them out. Okay.
Yeah. There are a couple teams I think are going to collapse and fall out of the playoffs, but kind of starting with the top I'm going to go through with what I think teams either need to continue doing or need to do differently to sustain where they are. Just let me know your take. But I think Dolphins, they just need to keep doing what they're doing, but they need to do it against good. So their offense has been phenomenal all year. Their defense is getting better down the stretch of this year once Ramsey came back. I think they need to keep doing everything that they're doing on the field has been good, but they've struggled against good teams, and they need to show that they belong with them.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. They got some tough games coming up too, so they're really going to show us who they are before the season's over.
Ravens need to establish some semblance of a pass game. Their run game is solid, but when Mark Andrews went down, they have not been the same on offense. Their defense has kind of kept them afloat, but if they want to make headway and be a contender in the AFC, they're going to have some sort of consistent pass game. Odell's shown up a couple times, but he hasn't been consistent there, and they're going to need that to perform.
Yeah, I think they really need Zay Flowers to start going off. The Ravens, speaking of tough schedules, they don't play a team with a losing record for the rest of the year. So yeah.
It's going to be tough. Chiefs, they needed receiver help. They didn't get it. They needed it at the deadline. They didn't get it. So Mahomes, I don't know that he can get there by himself and just with the defense. Their receivers are just straight up fucking terrible. Like, they lead the league in drops. Marquez Valdes-Scantling leads the league in drops above 30 yards, I think it was. They're the reason that they've lost games. And they're the reason they'll probably continue to lose games. The Jags, no Trevor will be tough, but who knows how long that's going to be. Rumor is that you said that he should be back either this week or next. So
yeah. Real quick, for the Chiefs, though, they have a pretty easy schedule after this week. This week's going to be a tough game, but after this week, it's a bunch of games that I think they should win. So honestly, with the other tough schedules we're looking at, with the other teams, the Chiefs could pull out the number one still, I think.
You never know. Because, I mean, people thought that them versus the Packers was going to be an easy win. And the Packers made that kind of their statement win. And then here the Packers are now in discussion for a playoffs position.
Yeah.
So you never know, how these teams are going to step up at the end of the year.
Yeah, for sure. I agree. And with the Jaguars, the only game that I would really bet against them on their schedule left is the Ravens. They have the Ravens still, but all the other games I think are very winnable for them, maybe even without Trevor Lawrence, depending on how everything goes.
Yeah, without Trevor Lawrence, I think that's really the deciding factor. With Trevor, I think they still win the division, but without him, it becomes very tough because they've got the Colts and the Texans both breathing down their neck for that division. They're pretty close there, so they're only, I think, a game apart. Steelers need offense. Their defense has been great. We've said it all year. Kenny Pickett got hurt. They look moderately okay with Trubisky, but their offense is just kind of a little bit of a struggle there. Colts, they need to keep winning, and they need JT. Colts are outperforming what everyone expected of them. They just need to keep doing it, I guess. The Browns, I'm putting this as NA because I don't think they need to do anything to make the playoffs. I think they're not going to make the playoffs. They're going to fall out of contention there, and they're going to be replaced by one of the in the hunt teams. So Texans keep going for it without Dell. Their offense, regardless of who's out, they've had a receiver out every single week of the year almost, and CJ Stroud's made it work. He's been able to find a way to win, and I think he's going to keep doing that. And they're going to squeak in and get a playoff spot. Just depends on the seeding. Broncos, they need to start a new streak, get more involved in passing other than Sutton. Sutton's the only person that's been involved there. Judy's been non-existent. Mims has been non-existent outside of a couple games early in the season. So they really need to get those guys involved. And then the Bills need to run the ball. They can't just rely on Josh Allen throwing to Diggs every single play. So that is how I think that those teams are gonna make their way into the playoffs. I do think Bills are gonna make it in. I think Broncos could possibly make it in. Texans will as well. You could see Browns, I think, are for sure falling out. Steelers, I think, are falling out as well. So I think Texans are going to slide in. I think Bills are probably going to get in too. I think they're a better team than the Broncos overall. But Broncos will make some noise here at the end of the year.
Yeah, one thing with the Bills, they've had some bad losses, and they have a tough couple games still to go here. They got the Cowboys and the Dolphins still on the schedule, the Chiefs this week. So they have to win at least one, probably two of those games to make it, because other teams like the Broncos, they play the Lions still, but other than that, they don't play a team with a winning record. So they're going to have to hold them off. The Texans, I think, are damn near a lock with their record and the way they've been playing. And like you said with the Steelers, I think they might get knocked off. They have a couple teams that they should beat, but they just lost to the Cardinals. Who knows who else they'll lose to? Kenny Pickett shouldn't be back until the end of the year. And they got the Seahawks and the Ravens for the last two games of the season. I don't know about them. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Steelers are definitely not going to make the playoffs. And it sucks because I picked them as being a good team at the beginning of the season. I thought they were going to be a lot better, but their offense has just been so bad, and it's been tough to watch.
Yeah.
Jump into the NFC. I'll try to go through it pretty quickly. Eagles, run the ball, get healthy. That's pretty much all I have for them. Any game that they really look like a complete offense, they run the ball and use Swift. Any game that they've lost and any game that's been way too close and they haven't looked great on offense, they have not run the ball. You can't give DeAndre Swift 5 carries before the fourth quarter and expect that it's going to be a good result. So they need to get healthy as well. They've been really banged up in the linebacker position, especially, really leading to a lot across the middle in terms of tight end usage and just quick slants. The defense is the biggest issue for them. San Francisco, nothing. Just keep doing the same thing. Honestly, if I had to say anything, it's be consistent about it, because and if they get any injuries, be able to overcome those injuries. That's something that kind of hurt them earlier in the season when they went on their 3-game stretch. They lost McCaffrey for a game. They lost Debo was kind of in and out. Kittle was out for a couple games. And it seems like when they lost one piece, it just kind of had a trickle effect, and the offense didn't function very great. They just need to be able to overcome those injuries on offense if they get them. Lions, stay healthy. They've had injuries most of the year at every position. Just stay healthy and keep doing what they've been doing, but against good teams, which they haven't exactly. They've had a very easy schedule, so I want to see that they can do it against good. Falcons are in a trash division, but they can definitely win it if they embrace the run. If they embrace the run, that is their strongest asset with Algier and Bijan Robinson. You and I have both said it all year. If they do that, they can take this division. They have a pretty decent defense, so they should be able to stay in a lot of games by controlling clock that way. Cowboys beat good teams. Kind of just started with them facing the Seahawks and beating them, but Seahawks are 6-6, so they're not a team with a winning record at this point. So they need to be good teams. We'll see if they can do that this weekend against Philly. But they've looked very good when they've looked good. They just got to do it against contenders. Vikings get Jay Jetta back. He should be back this week, and their offense just needs to be a little bit more imaginative. Looked like even the Bears is who they lost to, right?
Yeah, I think so. Right?
Yeah, they lost to the Bears. So, I mean, even the Bears were able to keep them at bay and hold that offense completely down. So it looks a little bit too easy to read. Packers keep surging even with Watson out. Embrace Tucker Kraft and Jaden Reed. They're both really good talents, and get Aaron Jones back and healthy. He's an X factor for that offense. Rams keep dominating on offense. Puka and Kyron are league winners for them. Definitely need the defense needs to show up as well. Seahawks, again, with the Cowboys, they have to beat good teams, especially in division, and establish the run to succeed on offense. Bucks embrace White and Godwin more. Stop trying to just force feed Mike Evans. And then Saints, stop getting arrested. That's really what I say for them. Stop getting arrested. They're just a team with a ton of legal trouble. For the NFC, I don't think the Vikings are going to make it in now, just based off of the recency of what I've seen. I don't think too much is going to change, other than I do think the Rams are going to make it in. Seahawks, I like the Seahawks. I think they're a solid team, but I think they're going to be a little bit left. I think they're going to be left out. Just with the way that the other wild cards are the Cowboys, Packers, and I'm taking the Rams. I think they're just better teams right now.
Yeah, I actually agree with your take like fully right now. The Packers, their schedule is super, super easy going from here. Like let me tell you, they have the Giants, Buccaneers, Panthers, Vikings, Bears, like to finish out the season. I think they're in, unless they have a collapse, because they look good. The Rams, I think, are in. They have a couple meh games, but I think they should be in. The Seahawks, I do think, like you said, they have a tough schedule. I think they're going to be out. They have the 49ers and the Eagles still. And then after that, it's actually not too bad, but losing those two games might be enough right there to knock them out.
That's a fact. That's a fact. And then the Vikings, like we said, like they don't look very inspiring. We said last week it looked like the jury might be out on Josh Dobbs, and people might know what to expect from him and know how to game plan for him.
Well, for the Vikings too, their last 3 games of the season are Lions, Packers, Lions. That's a tough cauldron to go through right there for them to make the playoffs.
Yeah,
I don't think they're going to make it through those.
I don't either. And honestly, you could see that mix up there in the NFC South with the Falcons being overtaken by the Buccaneers, since they're only like a game behind them.
Buccaneers or the Saints, heck.
But that one's a toss-up, and anyone can win that division. They're just all so bad.
I still have Baker and the Bucs taking it, but who knows? They're all playing each other to end out the year too. So they're gonna beat each other up, and somebody's gonna come out on top.
Yeah, man. It's
possibly with a losing record.
It'll be fun. I hope there's no losing record. That's always the worst when you have a team that has like 6 or 7 wins squeaking in the playoffs just because the rest of their division is fucking gross. It's a bad look.
Yeah, it's almost like if like a 1-loss team made it in the college playoffs over an undefeated Power 5 team. It's crazy.
Yeah, almost like that.
Anyway, we've talked for a while now. If you're done, I'm ready to move to the games.
I'm done, man. I'm done. I know it was a lot there to go through, but hey, we're coming down the hunt here. Coming down the stretch of the season, and playoffs are right around the corner. Fun and exciting.
Yeah, and this week has some big games that will affect the playoff hunt. So let's get right into them. Thursday night football in Pittsburgh. The Patriots and the Steelers. Poop. This is my poop game of the week right off the bat, Thursday night. This is an awful game. No Kenny Pickett. Ugh. Who's going to start at quarterback for the Pats? Your guess is as good as mine.
You? I don't know.
Me? Maybe I'd do better. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm picking the Steelers defense as long as Trubisky doesn't throw 6 picks. I don't know. Steelers, I guess.
Yeah, I'm picking the Steelers defense as well. I think the Steelers defense is going to really just be an impenetrable force for the Patriots to deal with this game. They're going to intercept their plans and sack their hopes of victory. So they say defense wins championships. I don't know if it's going to win too much for the Steelers here, but it's going to win them this game at least.
It's going to keep them in the hunt.
Yeah, they should at least win this one. This one will probably look just like the Patriots game of last week and be like 6-0.
Yikes. Let's hope not. What if Mitch just comes out balling? That'd be crazy.
That'd be crazy. That'd be wild.
It's not going to happen.
It's never happened in his career. So,
all right, let's move to the Sunday games in Atlanta, the Buccaneers and the Falcons. This is a huge divisional game for these. Like the winner of this game could have the tiebreaker in the end. So this is huge. The Falcons at home are tempting, but listen, I've been saying it all year, basically. Desmond Ridder, get out of here. And especially against Baker, my boy, my guy. Dude, Mike Evans is going to go to town against the Falcons. Even they do have a decent defense, but Evans is getting the win Let's go Bucks.
It's interesting because I think the Falcons are flying high this game. I think they're leaving the Bucks feeling like landlubbers. And Bijan is gonna have a day. He's gonna have a day. Arthur Smith finally is waking up and seeing that Bijan Robinson is the way to go, that the run game is the way to go for him to win and keep his job potentially, at least just enough until Dion is ready to leave college and go into the NFL. But for now, he's woken up, smelled the roses, and he knows that Bijan is his future. So I think they're going to wind up going in and pillaging the Bucks defense on the ground, and Bijan's going to be a fantasy treasure.
Fantasy treasure. All right. I'll tell you what.
Sticking with the pirate theme there, you know?
If the Falcons take this one, I will not speak of Baker Mayfield again unless he makes the playoffs. How about that?
I like that. I like that.
All right. Let's move to Baltimore, the Rams and the Ravens. This could be the game of the week. This should be a very good game, I would think. The Rams need to really prove they have what it takes to fight a playoff caliber team. But the Ravens, like you talked about earlier, they need to prove that they have what it takes to be able to throw the ball without Mark Andrews catching it. Yeah. What do you think, man?
Yeah. This one should be a really good game. It was a toss up for me to pick, really. I mean, the Rams, I think, are surging right at the right time. The Ravens, I feel like a lot of their wins outside of the really dominant ones they had earlier in the season, they've just kind of gotten lucky. So I'm taking the Rams. I think the Rams are going to come in. Kyron and Puka are going to run circles around the Baltimore defense, leaving them caught in a dreamland. Ravens are going to be left feeling a bit alone, caught in a haunted place in a dream within a dream. And if anyone gets it, there were quite a few Edgar Allan Poe references in there. So
wow, I like it. And you pick against the Edgar Allan Poe team. I'm actually I like what you're saying. I want the Rams to win, but I'm going against you in this one. I think the Ravens D is going to force Matt Stafford into a couple errant throws, and I think the Ravens mostly defense is going to end up taking this, actually. Maybe they'll get going in the ground game. I don't know.
Should be a fun game. I'm for sure watching it. I don't know if I get it, but I might have to tune the Sunday ticket, and I'm watching this game.
Yeah, should be a good one. I'm pumped for it, too. Let's move to Chicago. The Lions and the Bears, divisional game. Are the Bears, they look pretty solid the last time we saw them. And the Lions have been kind of meh lately. So could this be a decent game? I don't know. I think this might be my any given Sunday game.
I was just going to say, I think this might be the any given Sunday game because the Bears, you don't really know who's going to show up. I know their coach is coaching for his job. So, like literally, there's already a rumor that Bieniemy is going to take over for the head coach job there next year, and he's the favorite to get it. So I think he's playing for his job, if not in Chicago, somewhere else. But still, I think the Lions are going to roar their way to victory in this game, leaving the Bears feeling a bit grizzly.
Yeah, I'm picking the Lions too for sure, but I would not be shocked if the Bears somehow pull this off. I wouldn't be shocked.
One thing I like to see with the Bears right now is they are giving Roschon Johnson a lot of work. So the former Texas running back, Bijan's backup, is getting a lot of work there right now. I think he had 70% of the running back snaps last week, and outpaced the backfield. So finally he's starting to take over, and he is the better back in my mind there.
Yeah, I think so too.
And DJ Moore is the X factor, really. I mean, from the games that the Bears have won, DJ Moore has taken over and had an absolute monster fucking day, which he could again have.
Yeah. On the flip side, I think Laporta could have a big game in this one against the Bears.
He has a big game against most teams.
As long as Goff doesn't feel some random pressure or something, because he's had a couple games now where he's just turned into the Goff that the Rams got rid of. So hopefully we don't see that again.
Yeah, it's a very kind of Dayman Nightman scenario with Goff. Sometimes he looks like the Goff that took them to the Super Bowl. Sometimes he looks like did he take them to the Super Bowl, or did he take them to sometimes he looks like the Goff that got rid of. So to your point, he's just got to be the better one.
Real Jekyll and Hyde. Let's move to Cincinnati. I was just there not too long ago. The Colts and the Bengals. This is an interesting game. Jonathan Taylor, I believe, is missing this game still. And that makes it very interesting to me. Browning looked good. Minshew looked really good as well. The winner of this is going to have the tiebreaker for the wild card if the Bengals can make it that far. If the Colts can, to be fair. But yeah, I think this is a really big game. Zach Moss has been solid. The Colts just seem more determined, and I'm going to pick them. But I don't know. We'll see what the Bengals can do.
Yeah, I'm picking the Colts here as well. I think they got a horseshoe up their sleeve because they seem to be getting lucky a lot of the weeks. But I think Gardner Minshew is the mustachioed hero that they need, and sometimes a little Minshew magic is really all that you need to come out on top.
There you go, Minshew magic. Get your shit.
Minshew magic.
It'd be fun to see him in a playoff game.
Oh, it really would.
Let's move though to Cleveland, the Brownies, and the Jaguars. No Trevor Lawrence, most likely. That's not confirmed, but that makes it hard. That does make this game a hard pick.
It does.
Because I would have 100% taken the Jags with Trevor Lawrence. Now, CJ Beathard, we haven't seen much of him since he was like a 49er. So I don't know. I think I'm still going to pick the Jaguars, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
All I know about
Flacco
Beathard.
Starting? I don't know that either.
Flacco is starting.
Ooh,
all I know about Beathard is that he has matching ass tats with George Kittle, but it was their address that they had when they were in college. But I'm taking the Brownies. I'm saying FOMO Flacco, who had fear of missing out on the NFL action, is going to take a bite out of the Jags and leave them feeling a little bit rough.
I like it. We have quite a few splits already. I like this.
Yeah, this is three splits so far.
Somebody could actually like really take over if things go poorly for one of us or well for one of us. Glass half empty, glass half full. But CJ Beathard, when he went in for Trevor Lawrence, I think he was like 9 for 10 passing. So he looked pretty decent out there. He's no Trevor Lawrence for sure, but I think he's got a shot. He's got a shot. Let's move to New Orleans, the Panthers and the Saints, divisional game. The Panthers, they looked okay, I guess, last week against a better, they played the Lions, right? Against a better Lions team. The Saints dealing with some injuries. Derek Carr probably missing this game. We're probably going to see Jameis Winston. I love Jameis Winston, and I wasn't going to pick the Panthers either way. The Panthers look so bad most of the time. So yeah, let's go Jameis.
Yeah, I think they'll be fine with Jameis. I think the Saints are going to put on a heavenly performance against the Panthers, who are the NFL's worst team and a disgrace to the league, leaving the Panthers feeling like they were left a little bit in purgatory. So, Panthers suck.
Panthers suck. Speaking of the Panthers, though, real quick, Hayden Hurst, the tight end for the Panthers this year, has kind of a scary injury that they just came out with. He got hurt in week 10 facing the Bears. Concussion. He's been out since then. I was kind of wondering what's going on with him, like a concussion, and he's been out 3 weeks. That's not normal. But it just came out that he actually has post-traumatic amnesia from a hit in the Bears game, which means that basically he has increments of time during his everyday life where he just loses the memory of what happened. That's pretty terrifying. So hopefully he gets better soon. Prayers with Hayden Hurst and the Hurst family. But yeah,
it's pretty scary. Definitely don't want anything like that to happen. That's the first that I've seen of that injury here in the NFL. But prayers out to him and his family. Yeah,
I feel like maybe some old heads had that happen, and just like it was never a news story. Like, that's football. But yeah, you don't hear about that in this day and age for sure. Let's move to MetLife Stadium. The Texans and the Jets. Listen, Tank Dell is gone, but the Texans are going to cruise past Zach Wilson once again led Jets team.
Yeah. Texans are going to leave the Jets feeling like they were flying on empty in this game. And the growing legend of CJ Stroud is going to lead the charge and leave the Jets in their exhaust fumes. Texans all the way.
Bam.
Zach Wilson, the MILF Slayer, is not going to slay on the field.
Yeah. He's better with the older ladies than he is with football. Yeah. Let's move to the 4 p.m. slate. In Vegas, the Vikings and the Raiders are going to do battle. Not sure, actually, who to pick in this one. This could be a really close game. A couple weeks ago, I would have said Vikings all the way, but the Raiders have been playing decent. The Vikings have been playing poorly. So I'm still going to go ahead and pick the Pastronaut in this one. And the Vikings, especially, well, both teams had a bye week, I guess, but I don't know. I'm just going to trust the Vikings to win it. What'd you say?
I'm going with the Raiders. I'm going with the Raiders in this one. I think the Raiders are going to plunder the Vikings and leave them feeling like they're lost at sea. Not so much that I think the Raiders are an overwhelmingly better team. I think it's going to be a very good game. But the Vikings just have left a little bit to be desired over the past past couple of weeks. So I think the Raiders have a lot to prove here. The Raiders have been relatively decent since they got rid of McDaniels. So I'm taking Raiders.
We have more splits than we have the same pick this week. This is getting crazy. This is
No, we don't. No way.
I think we do. We have 1, 2. No, we both picked them. 3. Is it just 3? Am I wrong?
We have Falcons. We have Browns. We have
4.
Rams, Raiders, 4.
Okay. That's it's still a lot by this time. We're
Still
usually on the same page.
Yeah.
We're usually on the same page here. Let's see what happens in this one. Let's go to San Francisco. The Seahawks and the 49ers. Still no 12th man. The Seahawks haven't been doing good without the 12th man helping them out. And especially against the 49ers, I don't think they're going to be able to pull it off. The Niners wrecked the Eagles last week. What are they going to do against a not as good Seahawks team? You know what I'm saying? I don't think Kenneth Walker's playing either. So
I don't know. I don't think I've learned my lesson because I'm picking the Seahawks.
Oh my goodness! You just don't trust them. You're just mad that they beat the Eagles, aren't you?
Hey, I'm gonna pick them all year. So it's just like when the Eagles are playing a team that could potentially beat them. You just pick them, even if you think that the Eagles are gonna win. You just pick the other team because you don't want to see them win. And I don't want to see the fucking 49ers win.
Oh my goodness!
Damn it! So I'm taking the Seahawks. They're backed into a corner. You don't want to mess with team that's backed into a corner and is fighting for their life. So I'm going to say that the 49ers are going to be a little bit high on their pedestal there, and they're going to think that their shit don't stink. And the Seahawks are going to swoop in and ruffle those feathers, leave the 49ers feeling like they were caught in a whirlwind.
I'm honestly a little shocked that you're picking the Seahawks. I thought you were for sure picking the Niners. But all right. I'll take that win. I'll take it. Anyway, speaking of a caged animal locked in the corner, the Bills are heading into Kansas City to face the Chiefs. This is my personal game of the week. I don't know if it's going to be the shows, but the Chiefs have looked kind of rough lately. You talked about a little bit that they can't get their receivers going. They even traded for an old receiver they used to have. Can't get him going.
He's injured.
I think the Bills are going to pull off what I assume is going to be an upset here. I think Josh Allen's going to go off, to be honest. I think Josh Allen's going to go absolutely wild in this game. I'm picking the Bills.
Yeah, I'm also picking the Bills in this game. I think the Bills are going to put the Chiefs in a state of disarray, leaving Mahomes and his crew feeling like they were caught in a Buffalo stampede. So I think Josh Allen, agree. I think he's going to go off. I think he's going to outduel Mahomes. I think the Bills are going to utilize Cook, and he is going to be utilized in the passing and run game, and they're just going to look like a complete offense for once this year. Not for once. They looked pretty complete against the Eagles, and that was a phenomenal game. So I think the Bills are going to do enough. I think their defense is good enough to keep Mahomes and company at bay. So I'm taking the Bills.
Heck yeah, we're on the same page. I thought you might have picked the Chiefs.
Nah.
But you surprised me and picked the Seahawks in the last one.
I'm done with that. I'm done with that Kelsey Love story.
Hey, she's the woman of the year, isn't she? Or the person of the year or something?
Yeah, she's the person of the year. And I saw the thing that like she might be the only like kind-hearted billionaire. Or like empathetic billionaire or something.
Get out of here.
I was like, I don't know. There's a lot of billionaires out there. But
anyway, let's move to LA. The Broncos and the Chargers going at it. Divisional game. The Chargers have looked pretty bad lately. They did get a win against the Pats. And the Broncos just lost their win streak to a good Texans team. I think this could be a brutal defensive game, to be honest. I think there might be a couple fights out there to be like Chargers and Broncos. They don't really like each other. And I think the winner is not going to be decided until the final drive where the Chargers like to lose. So I'm taking the Broncos.
I'm taking the Broncos as well, man. I think the Broncos are going to charge their way to victory in this. And they're going to leave the Chargers feeling a little bit shocked and powerless. So I'm taking the Broncos. I think they're going to have the beginnings of a new win streak here.
Heck yeah. I think if the Chargers lose this game, they should fire their coach. I think
they should have fired him already, dude. Brandon Staley sucks. Like that offense has so many good playmakers on it, and you can't do anything with them. Like I get that Mike Evans is gone. I get that Josh Palmer, your wide receiver 3 or 4, depending on how you look at it, is gone. But they still have Quentin Johnson, who's a first-round pick. They still have Keenan Allen. They still have Austin Eckler. They still have a moderately good offensive line, and they still have Justin Herbert. That offense should be at least above average, and it's not.
Yeah, and he's a defensive coach, so what's going on? I think give Kellen Moore the keys to that team. Let's see what he can do as a head coach. Yeah. Anyway, let's move. Sunday Night Football. This could also be a game. The Eagles going into Dallas to face the Jerry Jones team, the Dallas Cowboys, America's team. The Eagles were embarrassed last week. Do you think they're going to be this week?
Nope. I'm done. Nope, I'm not. I don't think they're going to get embarrassed. And America's team, the top 4 televised games watched this year have all been Eagles games. So if any team is America's team, I think it's that one. And it is America's bird. So I'm looking at the Eagles to soar into Dallas and leave the Cowboys feeling like they were a bit corralled. With their impressive performance, the Eagles are going to control the division and leave the Cowboys in their dust in what was a true display of skill on the field. And Eagles will prove that they still are a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, all right. The Cowboys have been playing better since their last meeting, but I don't think the Eagles give a shit. They definitely want to make a statement here after last week. So yeah, I usually pick against the Eagles, but not when it's the Cowboys. Cowboys. We're on the same page with this.
I think with this game, like you said, the Eagles are going to want to make a statement. I work with a lot of people. The company I work with is based out of Dallas, and I was talking to a few people the other day, and they were like, "Hey, I don't want the Eagles to lose to the 49ers. I want them to win, because if they win, they can come into Dallas and we can catch them off guard, catch them sleeping. But if they lose to the 49ers, they're going to come in pissed off, and they're going to come in angry. And I don't want to face Jalen Hurts. He's pissed off, and when that defense is angry. So, I think the Eagles are going to come in and, like you said, try to make a statement.
Yeah. And Cowboys, Mike McCarthy might not be coaching. He says he's going to be, but he did just get his appendix removed in surgery. So who knows, that fat bastard's going to be there.
Yeah, if you touch too much more on this game, but a few more things to mention. Eagles are, I believe, getting Dallas Goedert back this game.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Okay. That's
Darius
big.
Shaq Leonard is there this week for them as well. And then they're also getting Zach Cunningham back. So they're getting 2 linebackers that were not there last week. And then they're also getting Dallas Goedert.
And that linebacker, was it Shaq Leonard? He spurned the Cowboys to join the Eagles, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that makes it even a little bigger there too.
A little juicier, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to want to crush the Cowboys.
Wasn't long ago that he was in his 4th All-Pro season. He's only in his 6th year in the NFL, so it's crazy that he was just released by the Colts.
Well, yeah, the Colts owner just sucks and takes the life out of all the Colts players and coaches. They've looked pretty good with the former Eagles coach though there. So
yeah, that they have.
I honestly think Steichen is going to be considered for coach of the year, especially if the Colts make the playoffs.
He's a really good coach.
Him and the Texans head coach have a solid chance of being the coach of the year.
He was a really good coach. He was really good with the Chargers as their OC. So he was pivotal in the building and as a building block for Justin Herbert. So
yeah. All right, let's move. Monday Night Football. There's actually 2 Monday Night Football games for the first time in forever. I think they're trying to make Sunday more of you want to watch these games by pushing some games to Monday instead. I don't know, but Monday Night Football, first game on the slate in Miami. We got the Titans and the Dolphins. Titans D could make it a little interesting, but Dolphins all the way. They're taking care of business.
Yeah, Dolphins defense is a lot better than it was even halfway through the season. So Dolphins are going to make a huge splash against the Titans, leaving them feeling like they were lost at sea with another fantastic win. Creating more separation for them at the top of the AFC.
Yeah, and we got one more Monday Night Football game, but honestly, both of these games look kind of trash to me. We got the Packers heading into MetLife to take on the Giants. Giants have looked a little better lately with Tommy DeVito, the Italian stallion back there. They're coming off a bye week, so they're going to have a plan for this stunning Packers team. But the Packers have just had 2 huge wins. And I think they're slaying Giants right now. Why wouldn't they be able to slay the actual Giants? You know what I'm saying? So I got to take the Packers.
Yeah, I think I agree there with that. I mean, I want to see some good moments from Tommy Pasta, the Italian stallion. I want to see some good Barkley action as well, but I just don't think the Giants have enough to beat the Packers right now. The Packers look really fucking good. They're on a hot streak and catching the Giants at the wrong time. So
yeah,
I'm looking for the Packers to pack a punch against the Giants, leaving them feeling like they were squashed and under a cheesehead.
Yeah. It's probably going to happen. The Giants quarterback Tyrod Taylor came back healthy this week too. I kind of expected him to get the start, but they named the old Italian the starter over Tyrod Taylor, much to Tyrod Taylor's dismay. But
yeah, there's nothing for them to play for. They're not playing for a playoff spot. They're really playing for top draft pick. So look and see what you got in Tommy. Like,
the fans are loving Tommy. So yeah,
like I said before, at the very least, he can be a cult hero backup, like Gardner Minshew, Nick Foles, Ryan Fitzpatrick. So be one of those guys at the very least.
Yep. There are a couple bye week teams here. The Cardinals and Kyler Murray getting their bye week. He's finally going to get a chance to play some COD. And the Commanders are on their bye week. They desperately need the bye week at this point for them. Yeah.
That is a wrap. So that's a wrap on another episode. As always, the best way to support our show is leaving a rating or review on all platforms you listen on, and of course by liking our show. Make sure you subscribe to the Flea Flicker Show on YouTube. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us on all social media at Flea Flicker Show. And once again, thank you, Flea Flicker Nation. Until next time.
Peace.